The 2017 Super Bowl Part 2 pits President Trump against the sports elite and most of the media. It might be a fair fight if Trump didn't have the majority of football fans on his side. Trump threw the bomb early. He scored on an unprepared defense with harsh comments about NFL protesters, calling them sobs. Only he didn't abbreviate. The sports world quickly rallied with enough op-eds, TV hot takes and tweets to defeat mere mortals. Trump is no mere mortal. The media tried to blitz him. NBC political analyst Anand Giridharadas told the Trump-hating Morning Joe team that the president is activating racist sentiments and a kind of chauvinism, cultural chauvinism. The racism tag is a common left-wing offensive strategy and they used it heavily. CNN's anti-Trump cheerleader Brian Stelter worked to rally his team. There is an unmistakable racial element to this story, he lamented during his oddly named Reliable Sources program. Stelter then resorted to a classic journalism trick play, posing questions as a way of making a bogus allegation. If he's not racist, why do so many Americans believe that he is? And how is that going to affect the rest of his presidency? Sportscaster Bryant Gumbel kept to the same playbook. He ended his monthly HBO program Real Sports with several cheap hits. Gumbel harshly criticized the current occupant of the White House. That occupant's weekend series of racist, churlish, and childish comments drew a variety of stunning rebukes and actions, which suggests that jocks may finally be realizing that apathy won't cut it anymore, he argued. Essentially, Gumbel is telling athletes to go left or go home. The left's plays were well scripted and repeated again and again. The rest of the media piled on like a fight for a loose ball. MSNBC's Deadline, White House phony conservative host Nicole Wallace, delivered another classic dirty play, using the "someone says" attack. Someone said that was Neanderthal, Wallace claimed of Trump. The View host Whoopi Goldberg tried to score some easy points, calling the president a bum-in-chief and falsely claiming his comments violated the players' rights. Hint: the same constitutional amendment that protects player speech protects the president. But player action at work is up to their employers. Leave it to one of the left's star sports players, Bob Costas of NBC Sports, who attacked both the president and his team. You're not going to find many voices of support outside his base, his extreme base, for these remarks, he predicted. Costas was incredibly wrong, in the outlandish way that teams totally underestimate their opponents, typical for media types in regards to Trump and for the Baltimore Ravens playing Jacksonville. A Remington Research Group survey found that nearly two-thirds of fans want players to stand for the national anthem, 64% for it and only 24% opposed. Had those numbers been reversed, they'd been burned into TV screens across the nation. Point 2. There was a ton more stupid protest commentary. The media didn't spend all their time playing offense. They also resorted to celebrating the protesters and ignoring the fans. NFL Today host James Brown went on CBS This Morning to do PR for unemployed QB Colin Kaepernick, calling him a bridge builder. Kaepernick is beloved by the far-left sports media for being the most woke athlete. They kept his story alive even when the QB's career was not. ESPN, especially, spent an epic amount of on-air and website time urging or demanding teams sign their favorite football non-star. Brown, who goes by JB in the sports world, was no different, bringing up Kaepernick's community work as a defensive move. I have to give him credit for, even though I might choose a different course of action myself, the fact of the matter is he's committed, Brown said. He's put his money where his mouth is. Nearly $1 million through community efforts to be a bridge builder. What JB. left out was Kaepernick's other efforts, wearing socks depicting police as pigs, wearing a shirt of the late Cuban dictator Fidel Castro, which is why Jay Cutler is now Miami's QB, not Kaepernick. That was hardly the only pro-protester bit. Every media outlet was overflowing with them, like stadium toilets on Super Bowl Sunday. ABC's Nightline actually depicted Kaepernick as a modern-day Jackie Robinson. Reporter Chris Connolly sounded more like Billy Joel, saying Kaepernick did not start the fire. 70 years ago, this was the face of change and of social activism in sports when Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color line in 1947 with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Some of the protest stories were just as propagandistic in other ways. TBS Full Frontal host Samantha Bee conjured up images of slavery, saying Trump was talking about players working on a field. Director Spike Lee was even more blatant, arguing that President Trump was acting like the owners are the plantation owners and